Okay, y'all, so here's the thing. I'm starting with my shrimp and rice that I'm making for my dinner tonight to finish up Nene's birthday party. And I had started it before, and I put my rice in here. I've got 2 sticks of butter down. I've got 3 cups of rice in here, and then I've got mushrooms and mini sweet peppers and some jalapeños, and they're all chopped up in here. Let me just give you a close-up of that. And I started cooking away and realized I hadn't hit the record button. So I'm like, oh, well, that's it. I'm just not going to make this. And my friend reminded me that that's part of cooking, not hitting the record button. So what we're doing is we've got white rice in here with the butter and all the vegetables I just said. And what we're doing is we're letting it get toasted. Okay? So to that, as it toasts, we are going to add some spices to it. We are going to add, because I'm making a lot because I'm making it for 8 people, right? So the recipe I will give you will be 4 good healthy servings for sure. So to this, I'm going to add a teaspoon. I'm going to add a little bit more salt in than what is, because I'm, almost doubling this recipe, if not doubling it. So it's a teaspoon of salt and pepper, but of course I'm going to do 2 because I'm doubling it, right? And then we have thyme. Calls for a half a teaspoon of thyme, so I am going to do a whole teaspoon. Yeah, looks like about half of a half. And a little bit more. So that is like a whole teaspoon of thyme. And then nutmeg. Now I gotta tell you my story on nutmeg. I like whole nutmeg. I think it is more flavorful. I think it's fresher. So this is how it comes. It's a little ball. It's a little nut. It's a nutmeg. And I have my little rasp. And it actually calls for a teaspoon. So I am just going to, and so can you see this? Yes, you can. I can see it. And I am just going to grate it in here. And I'm going to tell you that probably 1 whole nut of this nutmeg is about a teaspoon. So now we've got all these lovely spices in here. I'm going to toss them around. And remember, what we're doing in here is we're trying to get this, we want to get the rice to brown up a little bit with all those wonderful spices. The nutmeg smells divine. I don't mind telling you that. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the rest of this nutmeg. Being careful not to take my knuckles or my fingernails with it. It looks good to me. And so now I will be back to you as soon as this gets to a toasty brown. Hang on. Okay, so I don't know if you can see down in here. I'll bring you back here a little bit. And you see how that got nice and toasty and brown? It's probably been about 10 minutes, I would say. So now that that's toasty and brown, we're going to add a cup of wine. Now, this is my Sutter home. I always tell you, get these little ones. They're perfect for cooking. So I'm going to add that, which actually that's not quite a cup. I think it's like almost 3/4 of a cup. So I'm going to, because I'm doubling it, I'm going to add another cup to it because I've doubled it. You would only need the 1 little bottle of Sutter home, you'd be fine. So at this point in time, hold on, I got to just look real quick. We are going to let this simmer for about 5 minutes. I'm going to actually set a timer. And I will be back to you in 5 minutes. Okay, so I want you to look back down in here again, and you can see that all of that wine has been absorbed. That was 5 minutes. So now, because I've used 3 cups of rice in this, so I got to do the math, right? So, and I want you to know that I'm using chicken stock. I always tell you, don't use broth. Chicken broth is kind of like glorified dishwater, if you ask me. Chicken stock is what you want. And of course, you know I got this at Aldi because you know that's where I go. So this is 2 cups. And I've already got a cup that I used in there for the wine, if you will recall, right? So that's 3 cups of liquid to my 3 cups of rice. So that's not quite, so that's another 2. And I need another cup-ish. Another cup-ish. And you'll also see that I'm using a liquid measuring cup. I tell you that all the time. Don't use a dry measuring cup when you're doing liquid stuff. Makes a difference. So here's my last cup. And that's going in. Okay, so now I'm going to give this a nice stir. And see how nice and liquidy it is, right? Haven't got the shrimp yet. Haven't got to the shrimp yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cover on this. I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes. And at the end of 15 minutes, that's when I'm going to add the shrimp. I'll be back. Okay, it has been 15 minutes, and this is where we are now. If you can see, it's still got some soup to it. To tell you the honest truth, I want to taste this rice just to make sure. Yep, we're good. It's good and done. So these are my shrimp. I get them mostly at the time. Most of the time, I get my shrimp at Costco. They are deveined, tail off. If you get the kind, oh, sorry, timer. Biscuits are done. If you get the kind that have tail on, make sure you take the tail off. The only time you need to have a tail on a shrimp is if you're using it for a handle. So I am going to put all of this shrimp in here. To tell you the truth, I may not use all of this. Thought we were having more than we were. And I don't quite need all of that, so I'll make that tomorrow. I'm going to rinse off my hand a second. I'm coming. Okay, so now you see all this fresh shrimp in here. I'm just going to give it a couple of turns because I want it buried in here. And shrimp cooks very fast, very fast. So I got it all nice and mixed down in there. Where'd my lid go? Where'd my lid go? It's over here in the sink. I'm putting the lid back on it. I'm going to let it go for another 5 minutes. And when these shrimp are pink, we're done. So I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, and this is it. Look how pretty and pink these are. They're just absolutely perfect. I'm telling you, this is one of the best little shrimp recipes there is. It is delicious. I hope you try it. So today we did, for Nene's birthday, we did shrimp and rice. We have the salad that we made. We have the biscuits that we made, and the cake and the ice cream. So I think you've been with us all day. I hope you have a good night. I know we're going to. Good night.